Hi, I'm Angeline. As much as 6 months ago, I visited a place called Piedra Pintada, which is the largest pictograph site in California. And it is a place that is sacred to the Chumash and the Yuccas. And I have held on to this footage that I took when I was there, mostly because I was intimidated. I'm intimidated by coastal tribes, such as the Chumash, because the coast is such a rich and dynamic environment for people to exist. There are travelers that follow the coast. The emerging theory that much of the Americas were populated by traveling along the Kelp Highway means that for tens of thousands of years, people have been traveling the coast, dropping bits of culture as they go, dropping people, picking up new culture, taking it to new places. It's such a dynamic environment that I actually feel intimidated to discuss it in any kind of definitive way, no matter how much I may learn about it. Yesterday I spent some time with a Chumash elder, and he believes that there's scientific evidence that the Chumash have been on the coast of California for at least 100,000 years. I know that sounds like a really large number, but out of the mouth of an elder, I am willing to accept it as the word, because that means that's what the people believe of themselves. He also verified for me a few other stories about the Chumash, about the people, stories that the people tell and practices that they practice, which gives me a little bit more confidence in some of the things that I have read. Sometimes reading things doesn't always give you 100% confidence in what the people think of themselves, and what the people think of themselves is extremely important. So now I feel like I have a little firmer footing on a few of the concepts that I noticed at Piedra Pintada, Painted Rock in the Carrizo Plain of California. And I'm going to share that with you now and point out the things that I feel confident to speak about because the people believe it themselves. So here we go. The sacred mountain rising up out of the plain. Painted Rock is a horseshoe shape. It opens up to the north. The backside faces the south. The whole east side is where the images appear. And the west side, there are absolutely no images, no painting, no pictographs, no petroglyphs, just shelter caves. Grinding holes, lots of smoke stains along the back of those shelters, and deep, deep grinding holes. This one's probably more than a foot deep. And then from the shelters, you look onto the amphitheater of all of the paintings. Plus, the fact that it's kind of a horseshoe shape, but it's also a birth canal. It's a circle with an opening. It's a yoni shape. And just kind of as a point of reference, there are some tribes down in Southern California, like the mountains of the San Diego area, where women's female puberty rituals involve this grinding hole, not a grinding hole, I'm sorry, a mortero, that it looks like a broken mortero. It looks like a broken portable rock that's used for grinding a basin that has an opening at the front like this. But some studies have been done on these items, and they actually seem to be made that way. Somehow they're actually for a different kind of grinding using a longer pestle, and they're symbolic of female fertility because they're used for grinding the food, and because of the shape of them that imitates the yoni. It's almost like a divine coincidence that's being recognized, that the shape of the vessel that's used to make the food for the people is used by the women and is shaped like the female reproductive organs. This womb is like that. It's the center of the center. It's the holiest of holies. It's the circle
I imagine it was looked at one time, or maybe still looked at, as a place where the stories of creation are told, and then some kind of ceremony in which the people march out and become part of the wider world. This is what happens in my imagination.
So the Chumash are extra fascinating because they were on the coast, and they occupied such a huge range with a variety of environments, from around the Santa Barbara Channel down to Topanga Canyon in Los Angeles, and as far east as the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains. Kroeber was one of the first ethnographers and anthropologists to study the early people of California, and he detected 8 distinct languages within the Chumashian family. Not dialects, not accents, actual whole languages that are considered Chumashian languages. That, just that alone helps describe how diverse these people were. The people that considered themselves to be Chumash were so spread out over a variety of landscapes that they had the opportunity to develop as many as, and probably more than, 8 distinct languages within that people. It's thought that probably at one time there would have been 15,000 people, anywhere from 8 to 20,000, but conservatively 15,000 people occupying Chumashian territory. And when early Spanish came and met with the Chumash, maybe as early as the 1500s, they were incredibly impressed with how sophisticated they were. Because of this great diversity of their landscape and their environments, and how big the group of people was that considered themselves to have a core of Chumash, we could think of them like cosmopolitan people, sitting around the campfire, grandfathers telling a boy who's seen nothing but the coast from the time he was born until the age of 13. And he's telling about his cousin who lives over in the mountain, and he's brought back a bear skin or something, to show. And these exotic stories from far and wide, and all of our people live amongst this. It's like living in a big city, and someone lives in the village, and someone lives in the suburb, and someone lives in a high-rise, and these things. There's such a variety of experience that all happens within our people, you see. So it's a cosmopolitan culture, if you will, or a cosmopolitan people. And they brought this vast trade network to the coast to trade with the early Europeans who came in contact with them, and the Europeans were quite impressed with the level of sophistication and of their technology, of their knowledge. And not only did they have access to all this information and a vast array of a variety of knowledge, but they valued knowledge. Knowledge was held to be something one should attain instead of, remaining simple. One should try to acquire knowledge. Here at Painted Rock, the Chumash shared a territory with the Yucats, and it's explained that some of the art here at Painted Rock actually is of the Yucats variety. I hope I was saying that right. Yucats. Chumash. The intent is there, and I mean well, people. Please forgive me for mispronouncing your people's name. But they share this territory, and there's a variety of art here on these rocks that reflected some different peoples. This is the part that's really unfortunate. This beautiful panel, totally destroyed on purpose, vandals, within the last 100 years. But, early ranchers. There's, thank goodness for documentarians who took wonderful photographs of this in the 1950s, I think, and were able to capture what this was. There was also an early settler in the late 1800s who made drawings of these paintings in their entirety. And we're so lucky she did. This is a drawing of the east wall frieze recreated by rock art researcher Campbell Grant. And some people think that this tells a very specific story. The part you're looking at right now, the long sticks, the two long red sticks with the black in the middle, some people think that those represent peon sticks. And I'll tell you a little story. This is how the story goes of Sky Coyote and the sun playing the game of peon. Peon is a game played with two teams, and in the mythical version, Sky Coyote plays on the team with Morning Star, and the sun plays on the team with Sky Eagle. And this is a guessing game. I've seen this played, and it is absolutely magnificent to be part of because there's singing and rhythm and chant that goes along with it, and it's very exciting, and it happens by firelight a lot of the time. So the men will play this game all through the night, just like Sky Coyote and the sun. And what it is it's kind of like an intuition game or a mind reading game where the one team will hide a token, and the other team through signals has to communicate where they think these tokens are hidden, and then score is kept by dividing up these striped sticks like you see in the picture here. At the end of the game, the score is tallied up and the winner wins the prize, whatever that may be. In the case of Sky Coyote and the sun, if the sun and eagle win, that means that the year, if they win the game that's played every night, and at the end of the year when the score is taken, if the sun wins, then that year will be a dry year. If Sky Coyote wins, then that year will be rainy and fruitful and abundant for the people. So this is a mythical tale. It's a mythical game that plays out in the sky night after night all year round. Something else that shows up really prominently at Painted Rock is paintings inside of all of these natural concave depressions in the rock. And also images of concentric circles. In the Chumash worldview, there are three planes of existence. There's an upper world of heavenly spirits like Sky Coyote, for example, the earthly plane where people live, and the underworld where scary beings live. And in their stories, there's also a presumption of this idea of concentricity, where if you read through their stories, a prevailing theme is that you should stay close to the center. And that's interpreted in just about every way you can think of, metaphysically, philosophically, or even just geographically. The center of your tribe is where you will be strongest. The further out you travel from your center, there's more danger. So staying at the center of your being, the center of your tribe, the center of your homeland, the center of your knowing. The more solidly you remain in the center of the concentric circle idea is where you will be strongest. So this motif plays out a lot in the rock art, and I think especially in the fact that these circular depressions are used, and every single one of them on this wall has paint in it.
If you ever see pictures of this panel, which I will show you, you see the big paintings are new, red, over some older images. And actually these older images are smaller and finer. Look at this. And more colors. Down here, we've got, looks like black and red and white all along the edging down here. It's like I don't know what you call it, the cornices, or the little trim you put along the top of your wall at home. Trying to see if I can find some more. There's some black. I guess I just showed you this. Some black and red images painted over with the red.
Now we'll just kind of show you a slideshow of some of the de-stretched images that appear at random places within the enclosure of painted rock. Thank you very much for watching. I support this channel with the sale of my handmade art that I make in the style of the Huichol bead art of Mexico. A link to my shop can be found at theancientsouthwest.com. If you enjoy this channel and you want to support the gas money and the books and the education that goes into it, feel free to buy an item for yourself or for a friend. And if not, I thank you for watching. Please hop over to the Facebook group, Ancient Southwest, and join the discussion. There you can post pictures of your adventures and see what other people are up to. Have a wonderful day.